So there was a few things I lied about in last week's video. One of those things being that you'd be getting a completed chicken coop tour today. Needless to say, things just did not go as planned. If we rewind back to yesterday, it was kind of annoying. I'm sure my husband would say the same thing. This ground around this chicken coop is very compact. It was probably the most compact dirt we have messed with on our entire property. We were trying to dig out a foot underneath the chicken coop, God, for at least probably close to 3 hours. My husband would go in with the rototiller. I would go in behind him shoveling any dirt I could. It was kind of that process ongoing. We had so many roots, which, I mean, obviously there is a maple tree right here, but still quite annoying. It took a long time. So the reason being to do that is so that we could put caging underneath. That way no predators can claw underneath and get the chickens. That was definitely one of the hardest parts of the build by far. So even once the chickens go out, there's a few things detail-wise that I want to do as well. So I don't know if I will get this video out to you next week or the week after. I know it will be in the handful of weeks. We're really close. I promise you that. Okay, so number 2 thing I lied about was that I wasn't going to be harvesting this celery, and I was going to attempt to keep it in this bed the entire summer. All right, so complete change of plans. The celery is actually showing signs of either starting to bolt or it's bolting. I have a few that are actually starting to go to seed. Literally the next day after the garden tour, I noticed all of this happening. So that's how crazy stuff like this can bolt. So I mentioned in the garden tour, we've been significantly warm for May. The last 2 weeks we've been like 85 to 95, and it's been very, very hot. And things like this, again, will bolt really fast. So I actually plan to plant out a second round of pink celery after. So I'm going to harvest all this, plant it with bush beans. The bush beans I can harvest in the next like 60 to 70 day window, and then I will turn around and replant this bed with more celery for my fall garden, which I think I will be able to overwinter a lot easier. So the plan for the day is to get this celery harvested. I'm going to go inside, blanch it, chop it, throw it in the freezer, do all that schnazzle, come back out here, do some direct sowing, because again, we have rain on the way. We have a lot of rain coming, so there's some direct seeding I need to get done. Someone, I don't know what happened, decided to eat one of my Mongolian giant sunflowers as well, so we have to replant one of those. But yeah, there's a few other things I need to harvest. I need to harvest chamomile, I need to harvest some strawberries. So yeah, I figured I would just take you along for a full gardening day. I also want to throw down some different fertilizer throughout. Yeah, there's just a lot I like to do on a day like this where you can do a lot of harvesting midday because it's just super cloudy, it's cool. So yeah, I figured I would take you along for a day like today just to show you an insight on what a big gardening day looks like when I am harvesting, preserving in some type of way, and doing a bunch of stuff throughout the garden. A lot of you guys ask for realistic days like this, so let's do it. The last thing to do with this celery, other than put the celery away once it's been frozen for a few hours, is to save some of the leaves. I'm going to throw it in this freezer bag here. I'm saving the leaves for when I make broth. Works really well for broth, if you did not know. Perfect. I'm composting the rest of the leaves. There's a lot of leaves. It's already in the compost. I did not film that portion for you guys. Okay, I have my coffee. We are ready for round 2. We are planting this bed with beans. Okay, so this is what I talk about all the time when I say succession sowing. We just harvested celery and now we are immediately turning around and planting beans. So I love to succession with beans. These take about 60 days to mature. So you can get a lot of different successions of beans throughout your space. You will see me succession with beans a lot, especially when it comes to like the garlic, the onions, and things like celery. So all of those crops are very high feeders. A lot of your annuals are going to be very high feeder plants. So with that, you want to replace the nitrogen. You want to make sure you're bringing back into the soil, and beans can help do that. Do they really fully help? No, you still have to amend this bed to a degree. I will fertilize it. I will do certain things to it. But we're going to be planting out these beans today. So before I stick the beans in the ground, I am going to move the straw out of the way. I'm probably going to put a bag or 2 down of black cow because I have some in my shed. All that's going to do is help amend the soil to a degree because the celery was starting to show signs of depletion as well with a little bit of yellowing on the tips of the leaves. So I'm sure this soil needs something. So we're going to go ahead and give it that and then plant these guys. Alright, so another half to do today is harvest off the scapes that are curling. So I have done this once already right after the garden tour. I think it was like 2 or 3 days after. It was toward the end of last week. I did my first round of garlic scapes. I will tag the short video I made here on how I preserve them. I do freeze these as well, and I will be using these for broth making. I have done other things. A lot of people suggest scape pesto, which I have never tried, but if you have any other suggestions, let me know, because I will probably be doing a few more rounds of harvesting scapes. With having 8 different varieties, I've noticed that some varieties are ahead of others and so forth. So please leave your suggestions down below. Ugh. Actually, I have a lot more scapes here than I thought. I got a good amount of scapes, a lot more than I was thinking. I also need to harvest this chamomile, and then I have quite a few snow peas. The snow peas, like I saw one last Monday, and now I've harvested at least like 20 already. They just produce them like this. It's absolutely crazy. All right, well, I'd say pretty good harvest day for what? Is this end of May already? Yeah, end of May. Got chamomile, got garlic scapes, got some peas, got all that celery. I also need to harvest some of these beets and kale over here as well that you probably can't see. I need to juice all those. Actually, I want to dry these beets. Maybe I will harvest these beets. Either way, I'm going to leave you guys here. Probably going to harvest these beets right after I end this video. The weather is starting to change, so I need to bust out a few things in this garden. Only thing I am going to be doing is putting a few different fertilizers down. So for the onions and the garlic, I'm going to throw down some bone meal. This is the last time I'm throwing any bone meal on this garlic. After that, we will harvest this garlic in about 3 to 4-ish weeks, depending. That's just the last time it will be fed. I also need to throw down some berry fertilizer on my berries. I need to throw some acidic stuff on my blueberries. There's all just different things I need to feed. Plants are looking at me like they need to be fed to some degree, so I'm going to do that with all this rain coming in. And then there's also a few more things I need to direct sow. So let's hope the rain holds out for at least 1 more hour and I can get those things done. But I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of random harvest with me vlog. Yeah, I still have a lot to do tonight. But thank you guys so much for joining. I will see you all next week. Bye!